Welcome back, everybody, and it's another beautiful Saturday. The question is, really, at the end of the day, are sellers panic pricing? Are they dropping prices because, well, they think that their home isn't selling? Or is there another reason? Hey, let's delve into that. Let's delve into some of the, May numbers that are in real time, since it is June 1 now. We're almost halfway through the year. Crazy, but let's go through our numbers. In the meantime, let's get the show on the road. All right, so Redfin actually came out with a report in the Puget Sound Business Journal. Did a little bit of reporting here. Let me pop this open here. It says home sellers are dropping prices, but don't celebrate if you're a prospective buyer. And the question is why? Why are they saying that? And what is going on? We're going to delve into that. And as we do, let's pop over here. Let's take a look at first what's going on in some of the headlines, which has contributed to this article. And then we're going to dive into a little bit more as to what the real thing is. And that is the important part, is what is the real message? So let's pop this open. So first of all, pending home sales posts a 7.7% drop. Now, funny enough, part of that is looking at actually April and first part of May. And then, of course, we have the bottom left, rates push application volume back to March levels. Not uncommon. We had some really interesting rallying. And then bottom right, mortgage rates break 5-day losing streak, but remain elevated. You know what's super interesting about that specific one is that as we are taking a look at mortgage rates each and every single day. So we actually, the week before, ended up in a pretty positive note. We actually had hit into the real low sevens, basically high sixes. And, you know, that was a normal trend. We had some good reporting. The Feds didn't say anything absolutely crazy, which then, of course, the investors or the industrial, stock market traders actually saw that as favorable. Bonds improved. Mortgage rates came down a little bit. Okay, now we did get a little bit of volatility, even though we had a nice 3-day weekend. And so interest rates had been kind of little by little, like 5 on 100s, 210s, we're creeping up. And then, of course, we just came down just a tad bit. Again, mortgage rates are publicly traded. Look at your mortgage-backed securities, things like that. The Feds do not control mortgage rates, but they will affect it, all right, depending on what they're doing. And a lot of folks are saying, hey, George, are the Feds going to reduce rate? Well, originally, when we started to see some of the inflationary numbers come back down because they want to see them at the 2%, and actually I think we're a little over 3%, and because that's remaining consistent and we're not really seeing some of the drop that they're talking about as far as some of those inflationary numbers. Now, the answer is no. Will we see that in Q4 or fourth quarter of this year? Maybe. I'm not holding my breath anymore because they are super concerned at the way that our market just keeps moving forward, even though they have increased their rate to try and mitigate that. Now, you did have some part of the administration saying that they were fighting inflation because they spent like $2 trillion to do it. I'm not sure if they quite know that adding debt does not reduce inflation, in my humble opinion, but actually many times has the exact opposite effect. But there's a lot of opinions out there. How's that? We'll get off my soapbox. Anyway, let's move on. So when we come back and we take a look at really the title for today, let me go one more slide here. Home sellers dropping prices, but don't celebrate. So funny enough, part of this article, Miss Merriweather at Redfin put out this article. And then, of course, we have Andy Medici, who actually did it. And in this, and I give this guy credit. I give Andy a lot of credit because he actually reported good information. And basically what it says is, hey, listen, just because sellers are doing a price reduction doesn't mean that they're slashing prices. What it does mean is they came on the market overpriced. And overpricing your home, if you watch any of our prior shows, is the kiss of death to you as a seller. Why? Because the buyers in our market are super, super, super smart, and they know what a good value is and what is a bad value. And when they see a good value, those homes are going off market within the first 7 to 10 days. Super smart. However, those sellers who feel, and it is a feel, whether it's sentimental equity, okay, which has zero value to a buyer, or they just have this, hey, this is what I know my house is worth because they think they're smarter than the market. They get proven wrong, and there's only one option. The market is going to say yes only to price when it is a match to their perception. So keep that in mind. And as, let me blow this back up again, as Ms. Meriwether says, just because listings are up doesn't mean that they are priced appropriately to make a sale. All right, so when we take a look at the Northwest MLS, as we can see the little chart there on the right, we can see that we had a huge number of homes, which is absolutely seasonally normal, come on, and in fact outdid the number of pended. So we have 1,429 homes that came on market and 1,299, let's call it 1,300 homes that went pended. That is super important to understand because as we are seeing more homes coming on and we are seeing a proportional number of homes coming off the market, and you might say, well, George, there's more coming on than going off. Okay, that has only been happening recently, but that's a 7-day running average. And on Friday, we always see a massive increase in homes that are going off market, going off market and coming on market. Normally, and as earlier this week, we're historically seeing more pended. In fact, for every home that's coming on market, we're seeing 1.3 homes going off market. Now, it's not like it was in October through December of 2023, and actually into January, where for every home that came on market, we saw 2 go off. We're seeing more homes coming on, which is seasonally normal. Now, understand, we're going to see this little bit of slowdown until after the 4th of July weekend. And that is because, look, the weather's getting better. People are spending more time doing things. And you're going to see some of those numbers adjust as we're seeing today. So as we move along, remember, if you like real-time, super accurate information, please subscribe. It helps the channel, helps others get the information. There's no selling here. It is all about making sure you guys get the best information possible. Now, look at this. The green chart, let me blow this up for you. The green, light green, shows available inventory. And as you can see, we, for the first time, have had a very healthy amount of inventory coming on in the month of May. And compared to like last year, we're significantly more inventory. The solds have held about the same, tad bit less than what we had last year, but only by a couple. And in fact, when we say only by a couple, we're only talking about, less than 1,000. So when we take a look at the average price that is available for sale versus the average sold price. Now, the green is the average price, and as you can see, we're heading in an upward trend. And the average sold price, again, is in red. We're heading in an upward trend. What's super interesting about that, when we take a look at just the month of May, year over year, the average for sale price, active price, was actually down $37,000 year over year. But funny enough, the average sold price, which is up 12.8% in the month of May, was up $101,000. That's a pretty significant jump. And when we take a look at, what is trending, is the market doing well? As you can see that it is. We're still heading in that very positive direction. This is the entire Northwest MLS, residential only, the entire Northwest MLS. And you can see we're still heading in that positive trend, even though active list prices have been coming down just a tad bit. All right. So when we head over, if we do a little bit of a deep dive, let me blow this one up for you. If we blow it up, we can see that what I've got written here is that, look, the average sold price, we were up $3,000 over last week, meaning the average sold price actually ticked upwards. For the month of May, we saw an average of $2,000 over last week, which popped up. Why is that important? That is important because each and every week we are seeing just a small incremental increase. Okay, now there are folks out there saying, oh, we're going to hit a market crash. There's a lot of media, and I shouldn't say media, there's YouTubers out there that are talking more on a national level. In certain areas have a lot more standing product, especially new construction, than we do. There's a lot of sensationalism out there, but we like to keep it real here. So even though we have fun with our titles, here are the same metrics every single week. So you get to balance them and see what is the real story, what's really happening. And that's what you get here. Anyway, let's have some more fun. All right, let's blow this back up. Let's head over and take a look at the Northwest MLS. Now, when we take a look, what's super interesting is that even though our inventory is up 33%, which actually is a great number, it's about 2,500 homes. So again, across the Northwest MLS, our active went up and the pended went up proportionately, right? When we say proportionate, meaning that it actually increased versus prior weeks, or I should say prior years, where we were actually struggling to keep that number. Sales are off only but maybe 100 homes, and that is pretty much small potatoes. Why? Because as we're looking at, again, the trends and the velocity, we're doing very well. Now, a lot of folks are saying, is this a buyer's market? Is this a seller's market? I guess they would not be saying it, they would be asking it. There we go. Good question to ask. Personally, humbly, because we are seeing a very consistent balance of homes coming on market, okay, and we're seeing homes coming off market, again, with those numbers being super close, I'm saying that we're in more of a balanced market. Even though we have 1.8 months of inventory, 1.9 months of inventory as of today, really, we're in a more balanced market. So yes, sellers who will price themselves are going to see multiple offers and go off market within 7 days, okay? Buyers are going to be a little more aggressive to that, especially when rates hit down in the 6.8% to 6.9%. They come out of the woodwork. Why? Because, well, that perception of value, and we can see that. Although 7%, low sevens, high sixes is a normal average interest rate. Keep that in mind. And people are acclimating to that, and people are not slowing down. And that is very consistent in the numbers that we are seeing. So if you're saying, oh my gosh, is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Well, it's kind of both, right? It is. It's more of a balance. I don't think any one party has a distinct edge over the other. And that is why I still think that we are more balanced than not. If we add, couple of thousand more homes, sure, the buyers will pick it up. Okay, well, we still have pent-up buyer demand, and we still have sellers that have the golden handcuffs because of mortgage rate. And until we get down into the low sixes where they're really willing to consider a move, nothing's going to change. So again, we seem to be just having this little tug of war where the middle ribbon isn't going any way, any one direction. So, all right, moving on. I think we killed that subject. All right. When we take a look at the next chart, hang on a second. There it is. New construction. As you can see, new construction has been bebopping right along, but there's two super important things. Notice the two red arrows. The blue line, is inventory that is actually coming down. And that is not uncommon, as we've been talking about that the last couple of weeks. Sales proportionately are down, but note that the pended pricing and whatnot is staying about the same. And that is super critical to understand, because even though there are incentives that are being offered by new construction, it's funny, actually, one of my clients today said, George, this plat, they only added one home to it. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's because they're trying to keep demand up, keep that level of excitement up if they're doing what's called a restricted release. Totally common. absolutely smart. This way they can also, and most people don't know, builders historically will increase price every 2 weeks. Now, during a super hot market, they'll increase it every single week. But we're seeing about a once every 2 weeks that they increase price. And you might be saying, well, why would they do that? Well, it's simple. There's holding costs and there's profit margins. And in order to offset those, they have to increase the price. And that is totally normal of what projects do, plats do, straight across the board. Always has, always will. Anyway, when we move on, let's take a look at a little bit of a deeper dive. When we see this, we're still seeing those incentives that are coming out. But when we take a look at actual pricing here, you can actually see that even though last year the number of homes as far as price, which was about 928,000, that is the same about last year. However, super interesting. When we take a look at the month of May, year over year, okay, we actually saw the average sales price for new construction went down by 10%. Well, that's super interesting, or not 10%, but by $10,000. That's super interesting considering we had actually been seeing better pricing all the way across. And in fact, year over year, we're actually about the same as what we were last week, but we were higher the week before. So that'll be an interesting trend to watch. Some things will slow down as we get the month-end numbers in for all of the new construction, because they do have month-end specials. If you're looking at new construction, look at month-end. That's when they need to get inventory off. There's a lot more incentives, not price reductions, but incentives that you will see. So anyway, that's just something I thought was super important. When we take a look at the actual numbers, and you see that here, even though we're down on our pending sales by about 1.1%, which is only just, not very many homes at all. And then, of course, when we take a look at the month of May, let's blow that up a little bigger for you. When we take a look at the month of May, we can see that, hey, month over month, we had better numbers. Year over year, we were dragging just a little bit. Not a big deal. All right, let's talk a little bit about the REOs. All right, first of all, we have some new poster childs for the Wall of Shame. Yes, I just stopped counting at 10. There's probably more. But anyway, it said that we had 52 bank-owned homes that are available in the Northwest MLS today. After I got to 10 that were not REOs, just agents not doing their job correctly, or the Wall of Shame, that actually brought us down to 42, which means that our foreclosure inventory is not up, it is actually down. And so now let's delve into that one. So as we see this, in fact, let's blow that screen up for you. As we take a look at this, so we actually are down roughly about 12%, all right? And when we take a look at the pended and the sold, those numbers are running consistent. And, when we talk about super, super low numbers, if you look at the underlined, look, we've only had 130 pended properties this year. A total of 159 homes came on market across the 3/4 of Washington state. That's peanuts. That's nothing. So those of you that are out there thinking that, hey, I'm going to buy a foreclosure and I'm going to get a great deal, that's not going to happen. We don't have enough inventory for that. And moreover, banks go and do paint, carpet, and vinyl, and they get top dollar or close to it. All right. So if you're thinking that's a great option, there are better options that you should be looking at. If you have questions, post it down below. If you have any feedback, love to hear it. We answer questions in about 30 minutes on average for people who post the questions and whatnot, except for on Sundays. But if you have any questions, make sure you put them down below. And then, of course, if we come back here and let's get to that next chart. There we go. Smash that subscribe button. And make sure that you share this with 2 people that you like. Share it with 1 person you don't like. Let us know, again, if you have any questions. In the meantime, have an absolutely fabulous June 1st. And we're almost to the midway of the year. And in the meantime, I'll see you on the next video. Take care.